This is Newsbeat from OU Daily. I'm Peggy Dodd,
And I'm Megan Pratt.
and here's your weekly headlines. The National Weather Museum and Science Center in Norman announced its plans to relocate last week. The new location will be in the city's proposed entertainment district in University North Park. According to a press release, the new site will be called the Weather Experience. It will feature storm preparedness and efforts along with history and other STEM elements in the interactive experience.
This museum is the only one dedicated to weather in the United States. The museum partnered with the Norman Economic Development Coalition to commission a feasibility study. That study found a high level of viability for the site at University North Park, according to the release.
Normanites may have noticed petitioners around Norman at various stores, restaurants, and even on campus. Those petitioners are attempting to gain signatures that would send the Oklahoma Gas and Electric Company's proposed 25-year franchise agreement back on the ballot. Norman voters denied that agreement in January. If the petition is successful, the question will appear on the March 5th, 2024 ballot. According to Mayor Larry Heikkila, over 3,000 people have already signed. City Attorney Catherine Walker says the petition must gain 6,089 signatures within 90 days. The petition was filed on August 7th.
3 council members told OU Daily they were being told by residents within their wards that the petitioners were actually misleading voters. Here's Ward 7 council member Stephen Tyler Holman talking about the petitioners.
Some of the concerns we've heard so far about that process is the signature gatherers seem to be largely people that are not Norman residents, not Norman voters, and they don't really know any details about what they're asking people to sign a petition for. And in apparently many cases that I've seen and experienced personally, some of them have been using very misleading using misleading terms to describe what the petition is actually for.
Heikkila, who has signed the petition, said residents can move their names through the city clerk's office. Here's Heikkila.
For doing something legal here, and say I don't want my name on there.
Okay.
And it's that simple. We'll remove it. But I can't just take off names from somebody I don't know who they are.
Right.
You know.
For more on that story, visit oudaily.com.
And there are several pre-development meetings coming up next week, all on September 28th. The first will be regarding a proposed resort destination for RV campsites, glamping tents, cabins, and an adventure park. That proposal includes a swimming pool, restaurant, bar, and clubhouse. The location for this proposal is on 24th Avenue Southeast, just east of Highway 77, south of Cedar Lane, and north of Post Oak Road. That pre-planning discussion will be at 5:30 p.m.
Next is a meeting for a proposal for a half-dog boarding facility and half-dog-friendly bar on McGee Drive. The proposal is for a 2-story building, the first floor being retail space, dog grooming, and a tavern. The second floor will contain an indoor kennel space. The pre-planning discussion will be at 6 p.m.
The city of Norman submitted a request to develop the northeast corner of Imhoff Road and Oakhurst Avenue to a 75-unit affordable housing space. That complex would be called the Crimson Flats. That discussion will be held at 6:30 p.m. in the City Council chambers.
2 housing proposals for multifamily residential structures at 221 and 305 East Boyd Street will also have a separate discussion. The 221 East Boyd property will have 5 residential units, and the 305 East Boyd development will have 7. That meeting about 221 East Boyd will be at 6 p.m., while the 305 East Boyd property will be discussed at 6:30 p.m.
The City of Norman Planning Commission forwarded the proposal for a potential Housesmith restaurant at the northeast corner of Lindsay Street and Berry Road to City Council last week. The restaurant would include a wraparound deck and over 80 parking spots.
This proposal includes an 8-foot brick and masonry wall to the north and east of the property, serving as a buffer between the restaurant and the neighborhood behind the property. The majority of residents who spoke at the meeting voiced concerns about the proposal. Here's resident David Nerez.
This is a much better plan that's been presented in the past. But this is a residential area, and so you as a planning commission has one simple decision to make. Do you want this to continue to be an extension of the residential area down Berry all the way to Lindsay, or do you want this now to be an extension of the commercial area coming across Lindsay? That's the bottom line.
Some residents did speak in support of the proposal, saying it could improve Lindsay Street. Here's Norman resident Patrick Schrank.
Lindsay needs help. Lindsay is rough. It's really rough. And it needs some investment. And so I applaud the developer for coming in and wanting to improve this area, improve Lindsay Street. And I think some small tweaks to this could be make it a really good development.
For more about the Lindsay Street and Berry Road proposal, visit oudaily.com.
Last week, the Sam Noble Museum of Natural History announced a new endowment fund. That fund will support the preservation of Native American languages amid a decrease in fluent native language speakers.
OU climbed 11 spots in the U.S. News and World Report rankings. In 2023, the university was ranked number 135 in the publication's ranking of national universities. After a change in its data formula, OU rose to 124 in 2024.
The OU Undergraduate Student Congress passed 2 congressional resolutions encouraging voter participation on Tuesday. The resolutions were targeted at the OU student body. The Congress also declared September as Recovery Month.
OU Daily will be on the ground in Cincinnati for Saturday's match against OU. Assistant sports editor Louis Razor will be live at the game, and sports editor Colton Soley and assistant sports editor Jason Batacchio will head up the coverage from Norman. You can find those stories online.
Let's look at the Daily's calendar for coming events this week. Today, OU Health Services is hosting a flu clinic in the Cross A lobby. Later tonight, OU women's and men's tennis will both play 2 matches. OU volleyball will play Texas at home, and University Theater will present its new show titled Everybody. And on Saturday, OU football plays Cincinnati in Ohio.
The Daily's calendar of events is filling up. The calendar tab on our website features campus, city, and statewide events. Thanks for listening to Newsbeat from OU Daily. This is the Daily's weekly news podcast. New episodes of Newsbeat will air every Friday. Each episode will give you a short recap of what happened on campus and across Norman that week. Be on the watch for longer special editions about each of our print productions. During those episodes, you'll get a behind-the-scenes look at articles and hear from reporters about their stories before you pick up your copy.
In the meantime, keep up with us throughout the week on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at The OU Daily, and on our website at oudaily.com. Sports fans, check out the OU Daily Sports Podcast. Hear the latest in OU sports and commentary from the team of sports editors. You can find that on YouTube, Spotify, and oudaily.com.
If you'd like to read more about the stories you heard on this podcast, you can find those and more online.
My name is Peggy Dodd. I'm a news editor here at The Daily.
And my name's Megan Pratt. I'm a news reporter here at The Daily.
And we'll see you here next week on Newsbeat.